everybody, this is Nick. My project is about grammar, and I think you probably know I have a couple of various hypotheses, and I wanted to kind of look at them. I was surprised that no one had really looked at this before, at least what I've been able to find on the internet. I've been asking the question, is there a connection between your native grammar, your knowledge of your L1 grammar, and your ability to learn a new grammar or a new language? Does your pre-existing knowledge of your grammar and your native language have anything to do with the L2 acquisition? And in our case, it's most of the students trying to learn English. So I wanted to know, was there a connection? That's one of the hypotheses. The other hypothesis goes back to our guy Dornier and our other guy Stephen Krashen. Krashen's effective filter, I've talked about that in the past. Basically, we know that what students feel, what students think, might impact on their learning ability, whatever it might be, in this case, learning a second language. So perception, students' feelings, students' thoughts are important. We should keep that in mind. And the other one with Dornier, he is one of the scholars of psychology that's looked at learners, individual learners' abilities to, that we have to recognize that every student is different. Every student is a different person. Therefore, can we take an existing curriculum and can we apply one curriculum to everybody across the board? So Dornier is looking at, student differences. Everybody's an individual. Krashen comes along and he says that we have to take students' feelings and concerns and be aware of this effective filter. Is it high? Is it low? And that's going to impact your understanding and impede or assist in your acquisition of a second language. So I wanted to kind of look at what students themselves believe about grammar and just kind of feel that out, so to speak. Find out if there is a connection in their head about their basic L1 grammar and then the L2. Is there a connection? So that's what this little project is about. I've got some statistics and a survey that I did. I'm going to show you that. But I just wanted to get started this way. And we're going to talk to a few people and see what they have to say about it. What language do you speak?
I speak English fluently, or proper English fluently, if you will. And then I wouldn't say I speak Italian fluently. I speak Italian well enough to walk around, carry on conversations with them.
Okay, do you understand English grammar? Do you know it?
I do.
You know it pretty well?
I like to think I do, yes.
Okay, you like to think you do. So you'd say you're proficient in it?
Yes.
Okay, do you think that knowledge of your native grammar helped you learn Italian?
Helped me learn Italian. Some of it did, a lot of it no, and well, it did insofar as, of course, you've got your basic punctuation, your capitalizations, things like that, basic, sentence structure. It would have helped me a lot more if I'd learned a language similar to English, like German or Dutch. But having learned a Latin language like Italian, it's very grammatically reversed.
When you were learning Italian, do you recall thinking back to how does this work with my native language?
No, I did. I would say.
Oh, you made those connections.
Bits and pieces. I would say it can't hurt. Obviously being proficient in grammar. But it's certainly not the. In my experience, it's not that mega advantage. So for me, learn grammar.
Do you think that your native language, grammar, knowledge has anything to do with making it easier to learn a second language?
Oh, it certainly makes it easier.
You think so?
Absolutely, certainly.
Okay.
I guess the answer to the question is then yes.
You think so? Okay.
I absolutely agree, yeah. I can see it's different. If I were to speak, it's not really a problem. When I write, that's when I start looking like a 4-year-old, and that's when it gets bad for me. I can speak it without, depending on what it is, like reflexives, especially if I can't do reflexives to save me life at all.
Okay.
In the last 7 years, never been able to do it, no matter how many times I learned, no matter how much I was immersed in it, never able to do that, never grasped it, never studied for it, always failed those exams.
Cool.
But yeah, basically present tense, past tense, future tense. It certainly helps.
Say you go into your Italian language class, right? Okay. And you don't understand English grammar at all.
Right.
Do you think that's going to make it more difficult to learn?
Far more difficult.
Far more difficult.
Far more difficult.
Cool. Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
I think there is a strong correlation between my native language and any other language because because when I was in high school, I also studied Arabic grammar and English grammar, and we kind of related to them because, if you want to learn other languages grammar, you have to know what's noun in your language, what is verb, what's pronoun, and what's adjective, what's noun clause. If you know it in your language, it makes it easier for you to learn these things in other languages. I think, there's a strong correlation. For example, my wife, she's not good in my grammar, and many times she has a problem when she talks too fast. She said, he have, instead he has. Sometimes she confused. She is good in English, but in grammar, sometimes she confused because she doesn't know our native grammar well, and she says she doesn't know even what's noun, what's pronoun, what's verb, what's adjective in our native language grammar.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, but I can recognize that, and I can tell, like 50 or 70% in my language.
So if you know your native grammar, you think it'll make it easier to learn a second language?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Because my native grammar helps me a lot to learn English grammar and also as well as Arabic grammar.
Are you good in your native language grammar?
Maybe. I think so.
You think so? Do you think that knowledge of that native language grammar made it easier to learn a second language like English in your case, or did it make it difficult?
It's a kind of mixture. Just now I said sometimes it has positive influence on your learning of the second language, but sometimes it has negative influence.
It does sometimes.
Yeah.
So are there many times when you're thinking in your new language, like in English, that you think back to your native language grammar and try to work it out, like the interlanguage?
No.
That's what I'm like. I turn into a
Actually,
I do.
I now here, I usually think in English.
You think in English?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not using your native language grammar.
Yeah.
Okay, one last question. If you have a group of students, do you think that, and they say they're Mandarin speaking or whatever, do you think that you need to understand how good they are in their native grammar, that might have an impact on teaching them English grammar? Is there any relationship or connection?
I think the reading ability is really important. Actually, I read some materials about students reading comprehension ability in mother language. If he's poor in mother language, and so there's a tendency he will perform very poor in second language reading. Yeah. So I think there's some collection.
You think there is some connection?
Yeah. And there's a problem, Chinese guys, the language Chinese, is really different from your system. Maybe your native language is English, but your second language is French. That's much easier for you.
Because of the grammar connection.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a connection between your native language grammar and learning a new language? You think there's any relationship?
Actually, there is no relationship between them, but when I think about that, or when I try to connect them together, I got confused with that.
So you
because the English grammar and the Arabic grammar are different.
Okay.
Yeah, there is no relationship.
So you say it would make it more difficult?
More difficult.
Okay. Would you make any connection in class between comparing the English grammar to the Arabic grammar, or would you just avoid the connection?
Sometimes I'll do that to show them the difference between the parts of speech between them.
Oh, okay.
Like now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, but no big connection.
No big
connection. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Shukran. Do you know Arabic grammar really pretty well, pretty good?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you were learning English, did your knowledge of your Arabic grammar, you think, have anything to do with making it easier or more difficult to learn the English grammar?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
No connection?
Nothing at all.
You never catch yourself thinking in English and putting it back into Arabic and trying to get grammar?
No, and even if I did, that would be like a big mistake.
Would be a mistake.
Yeah.
So you don't think that, and for you, there wasn't a connection between your ability to think in Arabic grammar and putting that into English?
Not at all.
Not at all. No connection whatsoever. Say your teacher was Arabic speaking and they really knew their grammar. Would it have made it more confusing to take English grammar and try to explain it to you through Arabic?
Yeah, because they're all different. You know what I mean? They're very not like similar. Like for us, Arabic and Spanish, I think like they're kind of similar because we have like very much the same word, like some same words. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And for us to speak other languages, like it's easy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But to make a connection between languages, no, I don't think so.
So you don't think in grammar like ever?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you.
Help you.
Appreciate it, man. Well, these were just a few of the interviews I conducted kind of on the street, asked some people I knew and a couple people I didn't, some questions about what they think about grammar, their native language grammar, and if it has any connection to them learning a second language or their mastery of that second language. The only thing we can say for sure is that this is something that linguists and grammarians perhaps need to continue to look at. And for teachers, I think that it's important to know that students, by and large, definitely believe there's a connection between the L1 grammar and their knowledge of it and how well they perhaps might do on learning a second language. So there's a lot more to learn, a lot more to look about. I just wanted to kind of see what people had to say about it impromptu on the street. So thanks a lot, and I hope this raises some questions and gives you something to think about.
Bye-bye, Kalash.